Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks got to check out their former teammate Jalen Brunson's new home in New York as the Knicks host the Mavs. In the first, off the miss, the ball ended up in the hands of the Don, and after a ball fake, Doncic drills a three. Other end, it's Julius Randle going to work. That deuce counts plus the foul. Dallas down by a couple possessions. So we know about Jalen Brunson playing his former team, but let's not forget about Tim Hardaway Jr. being a former Knick, and he gave his former team all they could handle. And this one in transition, it's Randle to Barrett for the throwdown. Then don't mind these gentlemen, just a couple lefties stepping back and pulling threes. First off, it's Jalen Brunson, and then it's Randle with a step back three of his own at the half. Dallas led it by 7. In the third quarter, the Don and Tim took over. Doncic down the lane. Who's stopping that? And then Luka, a pull-up three-pointer over his former teammate. It goes down. Tim Hardaway Jr. was fuego in quarter number 3. 17 third quarter points, 28 for the game. It's a season high 8 3-pointers made for Tim Hardaway Jr. Not to be outdone by Luka, who had himself a third quarter. You saw that dish there. He had 7 assists. The Don had 8 rebounds, 19 points in the third quarter, 30 for the game. And the Mavericks hand the Knicks a 121-100 loss at the Garden. So we are a little more of a quarter of a season through the first year of the Jalen Brunson experience in New York. And to be honest with you, we haven't seen a substantial difference in this New York Knicks team. Jalen's been playing pretty good basketball as of late, but overall, from a record standpoint, nothing fantastic or standout about the New York Knicks for good or for bad. Play devil's advocate, the Dallas Mavericks are right around where they were last year around this time when they had Jalen Brunson. They're now without, and they kept about $100 million in their bank account without him. Keep in mind, they did get Tim Hardaway Jr. back, who missed the latter part of the season. But here we are, quarter of the season through, and you're on this video right now watching this like, yo, what does this mean about Jalen Brunson? Well, here's my answer for you. One of the things and one of the reasons why I believe the New York Knicks signed Jalen Brunson, it's not because of them knowing where he's at 2, 3 in the morning. It's the New York Knicks organization, also knowing that his dad is in that organization. It's them knowing where he's not at 2, 3 in the morning. You see, Jalen Brunson, from what I hear about the guy, is consistent. And that means Jalen Brunson is going to be himself in October, November, December, but also March, April, May, when basketball really matters. And I think that will help this Knicks team down the line. For Jalen Brunson, the more the game slows down, the better he is, the more valuable he is. Early on in the season, teams are just going up and down. Some of the teams that won't be around come playoff time are going their hardest, trying to win games, put up some good stats. When the season gets towards past All-Star break, and then things slow down and these games actually really matter night to night in the NBA, I believe you will see more of an impact with Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. Now, from the Dallas Mavericks perspective, I do believe they will miss Jalen Brunson come postseason time. Again, in the regular season in November, December, do you see this Dallas Mavericks team noticeably missing Brunson? For me, I don't. Luka's got the ball in his hand so much. Oftentimes, I mean, you're splitting hairs here trying to decipher how much Luka would have the ball versus Jalen Brunson. Again, the Don's in probably his best season thus far as a professional basketball player in the NBA. But I do know this. Again, when we get to March, April, and May, a guy like Jalen Brunson is a guy that can win you a game if Luka's unavailable. Tim Hardaway Jr., as much as I love him, he's one of my favorites, been one of my favorites since he got into the league. He can't do that. All right, Dorian Finney-Smith, I like him a lot. He can't do that. Christian Wood, some of these other guys in Dallas, they can't do that. That's a Jalen Brunson thing. Again, when you get in the playoffs, the game slows down. We ain't in the 120s, 130s. We're in the 100s, 110s maybe, sometimes even the 95-ish score range. And that's when a guy like Jalen Brunson, he shines. That's when you see him the most, when the game is slower and he's able to control the pace of that bad boy at a slower pace at that. So, yes, I don't believe the Jalen Brunson impact and effect is showing now on either team, really for good or for bad. But I do believe that's going to change. Let's revisit this video later in the season. I'm not sure when Dallas and New York plays again, when Jalen makes his return to Dallas, to Texas. But I do believe the next time, if it's later in the season, these two teams play, I believe you will be able to see more of the Jalen Brunson impact and why it is still, I believe, a tough loss for the Mavericks, especially because they did not go get a guy of his caliber in return, just losing him for nothing and free agency.